Okay. Radar under investigation. Let me take you down, Tez. Appreciate you, Classic. Came in clutch on the fix for StreamYard. But why is it still? There we go. There we go. Okay, y'all. So for radar under investigation. Student pilot lands alone after instructor's death. So imagine learning to fly when you're the person sitting beside you, the person responsible for guiding you safely back to ground is suddenly gone. That became reality for a 22-year-old student pilot in Argentina after authorities say her flight instructor jumped from their aircraft during a training flight. The student and 42-year-old instructor Leandro Bertazzo had taken off near Cordoba in a Cessna 150, a small two-seat aircraft commonly used for flight instruction. During that flight, investigators say that he unfastened himself and exited the aircraft without a parachute. Reports indicate that shortly before leaving, he told his student that she knew what to do and she should continue moving forward. The student was now alone in the cockpit with limited flight experience and no instructor to correct the mistake. She contacted air traffic personnel, followed instructions, maintained control of the aircraft, and successfully landed at um, Colonel Alameda Airport. So, aviation professionals have praised her ability to manage what pilots describe as an extreme workload, controlling the plane, navigating towards the runway, communicating by radio, and also managing the emotional shock of what just had happened. He was later found dead in the field. Authorities are investigating the death as an apparent unaliving, self unaliving. We'll say that. A flight school official says his family reported that he had recently experienced mental health difficulties and had consulted a psychiatrist. However, investigators have not publicly established what led to his actions that day. The story is both a tragedy and an extraordinary example of emergency training becoming real. For aviation schools, it may also prompt difficult conversations about instructor wellness, reporting systems, and what protections exist when a pilot's mental health deteriorates. So the young student survived because she did not surrender to panic. In the most unimaginable moment of her training, she relied on what she had learned and safely brought herself back to the ground. How do y'all feel about that? I, I would panic. I would classic saving the day. Yes, he did. He saved the day. Tez Down said, when flight instructors are self-deleting, you know the economy is bad. Mm. Penny said, wow, that's crazy. He got skeletons for sure. Now there's more to it. There was pressure. Ted said they want to have conversations instead of just breaking the instructors off a bigger chunk of those tuition fees. Yeah. Hmm. Yeah. I would think so. I think so. Let's see. I'm gonna see if I think I got a video for this one too. Hold on, y'all. Uh, did I pull? Maybe not. Did I? I thought I did have a video for this one. Let's see. Hmm. Got other stuff pulled up everywhere else. Wait a minute. Mm, yeah, here it is. Hold on. And it was on July 4th as well. So I'll pull this up. Hmm. Share screen. There we go. And it's a long video, so we're just gonna hear the first little part of it, and then we're gonna keep moving. But I thought it was interesting that he felt okay, but he felt okay enough to do this in front of her. I wonder why he felt that way. He felt okay enough to do this in front of her. Comfortable enough to, I guess being selfish of unaliving your self deletion, then well, personally I call it being selfish for the most part. I do have um I have dealt with that personally in my life with family members and whatnot. But but yeah. So we gonna listen in and see what they initially say about it, and then we'll move on to some other stuff. Mm.
100 feet above the countryside near Toledo, Argentina, a 22-year-old student pilot suddenly found herself all alone and at the controls of a Cessna 150 single-engine aircraft, which was more than strange because just moments earlier, her 42-year-old instructor, Leandro Andres Bertazzo, had removed his headset, unbuckled his seatbelt, and calmly told her, "You know what to do." Then he opened the door and he jumped and disappeared below. His body was found later in a field, and of course, he did not survive. However, sadly for the student pilot as well as her instructor's loved ones, what had begun as a routine training lesson instantly became an emergency no student pilot or any pilot should ever have to face. Landing the aircraft alone while in shock and without the instructor who was supposed to be there to guide her. But thankfully, she did just that. Greetings, everybody. Maximus here. Well, today we're looking at a very tragic but heroic story out of Argentina. A story that maybe many of you have seen on TikTok or other vertical social media. But I wanted to take a look at this one myself and share this story with you. It all began with a training flight on July 4, 2026, near the town of Toledo in Cordoba,
We don't have to
Argentina,
go
at the
into
Flying
all those
Patriot Flight
details,
School.
but I found it interesting that he felt comfortable enough to um leave leave this earth with her at the helms of her own plane. Penny said, "I wonder how many hours she had under her belt, but hats off to her." Yeah, definitely for keeping it, because us females, we can be emotional creatures. I would have, I, sh- I would have straight panicked. No lie. Penny said, but they normally have people in the tower that can talk you down with a manual step by step. Yeah. Penny said, Argentina, that boy was caught up in probably moving weight and got in over his head. You think so, Penny? You think so? Oh man. Oh man. So I'm not gonna stay on this too long. Prayers to his family. Thankfully the flight student was able to get herself down and safely, and she can go on to live another day, because that could have been tragic for her too. He was making them midnight runs. Penny.